Welcome to What's in Your Pocket, a heartfelt conversation. It's your host, Marcus, and once again, I'm joined by my good friend, Austin Welch, a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Florida. And today we're going to talk about real estate and rentals versus flipping as types of investments and why you should look at some versus the other one. How you doing today, man?
Good. Thanks for having me again.
How's work from the last time?
Oh, good. Actually, it goes hand in hand with our topic as like rentals versus flipping. So one big thing is with rentals, you always have to deal with. Oh, sorry. With rentals, you always have to deal with tenants, and sometimes tenants can be a big problem. It's easy when you watch, TikToks or YouTube videos, and they're like, rentals are great. They're great investments. They make, passive income throughout the month. But one thing they don't tell you is dealing with tenants. So just recently, one of my tenants for a rental just fell off the face of the earth, stopped talking. So that's always, a fun time.
Was it a tenant that you already had, or someone that you were like a client that you were looking into finding a rental for?
So I was finding a rental for him, but we already had like this prearranged thing because I was trying to help him and his family out. So I was getting him like a property off the market and everything like that. And then as soon as I got it, boom, gone, left. So I don't know what happened.
Yeah, people can. That's one thing is like anything that you deal with people, it's going to be unpredictable, more costly than you think it is going to be, and a
Always.
whole lot less fun. Because my parents did rentals early on after after they graduated college, and that was their thing was they're so unreliable. And it's like, on the one hand, in your head, you're like, if I charge less money than the market is going for, I'll always have a tenant. That might be true, but you're not going to have the tenants that are going to pay every month.
Exactly.
So it's like a catch-22. But when you're, I've done some research on this, but what is the biggest disadvantage and advantage of each one? Like, what is the biggest advantage of having a rental property, and what's the biggest advantage of flipping?
So biggest advantage for rental properties is probably what I said earlier, where it's just passive income. But of course, that comes with a lot of analysis. So you need to do cash flow, you need to do expenses of the rental properties, you even need to allocate for renovations, tenants in case you lose one, emergency fund in case anything happens, repairs, everything of the sorts. One thing that's great though is, of course, if you get like a triplex, duplex, or multifamily housing, you can get more and more rentals in one building. And then it's kind of like easier to follow that, especially if you follow like the Burr method, which everyone knows about. But the only thing is, again, tenants are unreliable, especially in the beginning, especially when you're starting out, because you don't know how to talk to them, you don't know how to keep them. And then flipping kind of has the same thing. It's like unreliable with as far as like repairs. Like, of course, when you get stuff redone, you think it's going to be this long, and then the contractor does something stupid and has to repair, or they don't show up on time, or it takes an extra day. So it's really like the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah, because someone once told me anything with real estate is going to take twice as long and cost twice as much as you think it's going to.
Yep, that's perfect.
And with investing, like, flipping for me scares me a lot because I think flipping without the capital to cover the payments for the home, that's what scares me. Like if you have an estimate for 6 months, right, and then you find out that the electricity isn't up to code, then you have to replace all of that, and that's 20 grand, and you're not. So for me, flipping has always been, I love the idea. The actual implication just literally scares me.
Oh, it's terrifying. And then, of course, you have those people that they're like, oh, I'm a millionaire. Okay, that's awesome. And then once you keep talking to them, it's like, oh, yeah, I have $10 million, but I owe 6 to the bank. What?
Yeah.
If the market crashes, you are screwed, my friend. You cannot do anything.
Yeah, or people like in the market today where they're buying and trying to flip houses, and it's like the moment the market goes from seller to buyer, it's like you're in ham.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're buying a house now that's 200 that really is worth like 160 maybe.
Yeah.
And you're trying to sell it for 220. I mean, just yeah, I don't know. I think especially really wise flippers that I know two of them, and they they're not even working right now. Their hands are out. You know, they're doing like they're looking at other states, dude. I mean, these guys have been doing it for years, and they're like way out there now. They're not even trying. They're not even really working, is what they tell me. Is they're like, my hands are wiped clean of the market now. You know, but then a lot of the newer people are like, now's the time to do it. Now's the time to do it, and it's like, no, it's 2 years ago that was the time to do it.
Yeah, honest.
You know, and one of the things that dude told me, and it's really interesting, was he's like, when it's a buyer's market, it's better to buy a large quantity of homes and then like sell them as the market starts to turn to a seller's. So he's like, you want to build up the inventory then so you could sell it when the price goes up. But he goes, you never really know where it's going either. You know? And he said also he doesn't do any work in like the 6 to a year span of the election year either, because everything's so unsettling.
I mean, yeah, that's completely smart. Like, it's so weird. Something about real estate investors, you know, you can't really, like, you can rely what they say, but you just have to be careful, especially if it's on social media, because they always say, oh, you know, do this. But then you talk to real investors or you talk to real estate agents, and they're like, this market's just crazy. I'm in real estate, so I work with a bunch of agents, and I've talked to some of the top producers, like, in my brokerage, and they're like, this was probably the worst year that I ever could have got in real estate. I think that's a good thing. That's just a separate thing from what we're talking about. But, I mean, completely, yeah, it's like the real flippers that you know. It's weird. Like, it's not like how everyone says, like, buy now, you start investing now. I mean, that's kind of a mirage.
Yeah, and I think also some people forget the idea that, like, all the people on social media that are, you know, real estate agents turned real estate developers, and they're like, you can make $1 million a deal. How many $1 million deals is really out there? I mean, you know, in Florida, southern Florida, there's quite a bit.
Yeah, southern Florida.
But like, you know, LA, a lot. New York, a lot. But like, if we're talking like the 99% of real estate agents, you don't even have access to $1 million deals. I mean, I don't know. Unless you're in like a big city, I don't see $1 million deals as the norm. I mean, there's a gentleman, I don't remember his name. He's on Instagram. You know, he's like, don't get into it. Don't be a real estate agent. You know, you can make a lot of money in there, and you can even make upwards of $1 million a year. But if you go to real estate development, you'll make $1 million a deal. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, are you really tailoring that to 13-year-old boys who are like, ooh, money?
And that's the thing, like, that's how they kind of get you, too, is because, like, you'll watch your videos or they'll have a great thumbnail and they'll be like, $1 million deals. That's awesome. But when you break it down, especially for developers, because I've talked to a lot, developers will make $1 million a deal, but between fees, materials, you know, paying the other customer and everything, you might make 10, 20 from that deal, but they say $1 million and everyone's like, oh, you can make $1 million a deal. I mean, it's not, it's really to lure people in.
Yeah, which I don't get. Like, on the one hand, you know, if you're an affiliate for something, I understand marketing it like that. But I don't see how real estate developers make money by claiming that to other people. Like, aren't they just making competition for themselves?
I mean, yeah, basically. I guess this is the only way I could look at it. Like, their only hope is that they just bring more people into their social media, because a lot of people, even agents, like real estate agents now, they'll do work based off social media.
Yeah. It's such an interesting, or maybe it's about, you know, basically kind of a resume builder too.
Yeah, most likely. Just saying that you, like, created your own small business.
Yeah. But as far as flipping goes, especially if you're first getting into it, it's like, and I also want to ask you this question, because I think for the majority of flippers that I know, is they're not at the very, very low end of the market. They're not buying crap house homes. They're buying them, not the bottom, not anywhere nice, but it's kind of like right in the middle where they can put 20 grand into it and flip it. Is that like kind of the best approach to it? Where it's like you're buying not to the point where you have to remodel the whole house, you know?
Yeah.
But just enough remodels where it's kind of like more of a cleanup, fix the dry walls, maybe do the floors, fix the cabinets, but not anything like major.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely like the hottest area for flipping. And I would say, honestly, that's probably the best approach for beginners too.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like the low end, but like the 150s to like 250s basically is great for beginners because, 20% down payment, you do minimal. Hopefully you can afford the monthly payments and then you can flip it. And then I think for big flippers, it's just like more of a quantity thing. Because that's like the best like margin ratio because like you said, you just put like floors and new cabinets and then boom, everyone thinks it's something different, but it really is just a cleanup. And it's you can just buy more, especially if you're a bigger flipper, like you have a couple 100,000 to play with and stuff. You can buy multiple of those and then flip them.
Yeah, because one of the things that one of the guys that I know who does it, he's like, this is the biggest mistake early on flippers make, is they don't realize that the more time you own the home, the less money your profit margin is going to be, because that eats into your profit. He's like, if you have to hold the home for 6 months and pay $8,000 in monthly payments and you make 20 grand, you really made 12.
Yeah.
So he's like, you want to flip that house in 90 days or less. But especially with contractors, everybody knows they show up late, steal while they're there, and leave early.
Exactly. And starting out, you have no connections.
You don't know who the right people are.
So they're not going to respect you either. So,
I think one of the better things is, if you know someone who is, a handyman or a contractor, I would go through him. Even if they might be a little bit more expensive, I mean, just the fact they get the job done on the timeline is really valuable.
That's the most important. I don't care if they steal tools or anything. If you can just like start this day and finish this day, it'd make everything easier.
Yeah, because I think especially when you're first getting into it, you have this mindset that everybody's out there to help you, and it's think about it this way: if they can expand the number of hours they're there, the more money they make. So money motivates, man. I think especially with rental properties and, any renovations that you have to do with those, it's like that's money that you don't get because, you don't have a tenant in there. Everybody's like passive income too. And it's like, yeah, it's passive if you have a property manager, but you can't afford a property manager. I mean, they take isn't it like, what percentage do they take?
I don't know like the real answer, but I just know it's a dumb amount.
I think it's like 5 to 20% of the actual monthly payments, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it really?
I think it's somewhere around there. I might be wrong.
That's way too much.
Property managers percent. But I don't know, man. All this stuff, real estate, like I said in the last one, I love the idea. It just scares me.
It's just one of those, risks to reward.
Yeah. And I think especially, this is not working. How much do property managers cost? But what would you say? How many homes do you think you would need to justify having a property manager? 5.
Honestly, yeah, somewhere around there. Like if they were like single rental units or like houses, I would say 5 or more. But if it was like 2 large multifamily homes that are like quadplexes or quadruplexes, then if I had like 1 or 2 of those, I'd probably get a property manager.
Yeah, because it says the typical fee agreement is 8 to 12% of the monthly rental value.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, that's a lot.
I mean, if you think about
it's more than I make on rentals. Jeez.
So think about it this way, though. In it, especially really savvy renters, right? Even their profit margin isn't that great, right? Because if you're able to rent a home for $1,100 and your monthly payment's $500, that's $600 cash flow. What's 12% of that? What's 600? I can't do math, dude.
That's why we're in business.
So it's only $72. So it's basically $528. in cash flow, but that's not including maintenance costs. That's not including taxes. Like, so, it seems like such a good deal. Rent a house for $600 more than you owe on it. You'll get six. You probably end up making like 300.
If that, and that's what.
So you would need, like, if you want to make, $4,000 a month, you would still need, if you made 400, you'd still need 10 homes to do that. And these people on Instagram are, they're buying huge complexes of, 10 condos, or it never seems to add up on the numbers.
Never does. And then they'll always throw in, oh, if you renovate this one room or you renovate this one room, you can up the price from $1,000 to $2,500 a month. Are you kidding me? Because you added a washer and dryer? Good luck finding a tenant. And then they're always at the end, oh, and refinance your loan and you can get more equity from that. Okay, go to a commercial bank and try to explain that.
Yeah. Dude, like home equity loans like people who take home equity loans at like 10% interest and try to go do stuff. I was financially coaching someone this past week, and I kid you not, dude, this guy, really nice man, he came to me with a sophisticated plan to take out a personal loan at 10% and invest it in cryptocurrency and try to out earn the interest.
He was going to try to out earn 10% interest on cryptocurrency, which is literally the most unpredictable. I mean, he can try.
Bro, I literally had to sit there and like, calmly and be like, dude, you're trying too hard. Like, do you understand? And this man was talking about a $60,000 personal loan here. I mean, that's like $6,000 in interest.
What was he gonna? Not my place.
So it's like
Bitcoin.
But people really think it's possible. Like I kid you not, this man thought he could do it, and that goes to show why I'm doing all of this, like trying to educate people on finances and investing, because it's like I don't. It seems possible to do it, especially when you see, just imagine if he had did that 2 weeks ago, and then cryptocurrency, Bitcoin dropped 40% in a week and a half. And I'm like, here's the thing. You have to make $6,000 to not lose a dime. Like,
and then cash out right there, right then.
Yeah. Not to mention, next month's payment, we're not going to talk about that.
Not to mention the fact that cryptocurrency is 24 hours live.
Yep.
So if he falls asleep and that thing drops, you lost that month's payment.
Yeah. But you owe the month's payment and your interest on the loan.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like, but people think it's possible to manage and be sophisticated with money, and it's like, I think partly, in my opinion, that's why Dave Ramsey's so popular. He's like, don't be sophisticated. Don't be scheming and scamming with your money, I mean, I thought this dude was joking when he first said that to me. Because this is a 45-year-old man. Like, this is a man. Yeah.
Are you serious?
He's far more life experience has hit him a lot more than it has hit me. And I'm sitting there with my calculator going like, that doesn't work.
First of all, hold on. Let's just zoom out a little bit. If a 45-year-old man is requesting financial coaching from a 20-year-old teen boy, man, I don't know. I don't want to offend. Anyways, there's probably something wrong. Like, he probably messed up somewhere.
Well, it's also like, I think part of it is, I've done a lot of my own research on these things, and I've done well over the last 4 years of investing. And, when I first started coaching people on it, a lot of it was younger people, right? Doing basic budgeting and all this other stuff. But honestly, lately it's been a lot of older people. And it's because it's not what I would say stupidity. It's ignorance. It's like no one ever told them. They grew up in environments where they didn't have access to that information. Like, I don't think that's age discriminative, if that makes any sense,
Yeah, no, of course.
Like, like, for example, it makes me laugh. Like, I have the only credit card that I have with an annual fee is for airlines. But I out-earn myself in points because I earn enough points, especially in the first year, to cover 2 free flights, which is like $800 worth of flights, right? He's like, why would you ever have an annual fee? And I was like, because it benefits me more so than the annual fee. And he's like sitting there like, how does that work? So it's like you just sit there and do the math. And they sit there and they're like, I would say 70% of people are bewildered by this.
Oh, completely.
And to me, it's a simple like cost to benefit ratio. How much does it benefit me to have this card versus one without an annual fee? I mean, dude, it's 3 times the points. I mean, it's 3
and
times
like you
miles.
said, if you out earn them, I mean, it's worth it.
If you never travel and you have a travel card with an annual fee, that's called an idiot.
Yeah.
But if you're a consistent, flyer, it might benefit you to do so,
Completely.
Or for the average person, a cashback card is worth it. But it's like, I don't understand this. It's like some cards offer 1 to 3% cashback. Other ones offer 5. And I'm like, neither one have an annual fee. Why would you ever get the 3? But they don't even ask that question. And that's what's amazing. So especially like as you're entering real estate, ask every question against what you're trying to do. So you educate yourself before you get in there. Because this man was messing with 60 grand. When you're doing flips, you're dealing with 200,000. Right? And yeah, your interest is, maybe 3 to 4%. It's like, you're still dealing with a ludicrous amount of money. And especially, if you can't sell it for more than you have and you sell it for $10,000 less, you're not out just the $10,000 less.
Oh,
you're out all
you're
the
done,
fees.
bud.
You're out of all the contracts. So, my experience with the financial education system is just, I think partly you and I have been given a tremendous gift in the fact that we were educated on these things younger. I mean, I feel so bad for some people. It's unbelievable. And I think that's partly why I've embarked on this journey. It's because it's like, I don't think I realized how valuable that information was, especially as as I'm getting older. I think it's becoming more revealed to me how, blessed you and I are in that way.
Yeah, I think that's one thing with our education system that's completely flawed. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen more benefits in it recently. Math, science, social studies, English, of course, all those things. But I think there should be 2 things we should have in school that should be mandatory. One should be a leadership class where they teach communication, because that's key to everything, even life, even relationships, most important. And then second should definitely be some financial aid class, not economics where you do one investing project, or not where you learn about how the market works. No, like literally how to pay taxes, how to budget your own money with how much money you bring in, like things that will actually provide you resources in the future, because that's one of the most, like, it's literally the easiest concept that no one teaches.
Like, for example, a lot of the younger people that I sit down and do budgets with, they're fortunate to live at home, and and they have 1 to 2 jobs, and they're making $800 to $1,400 a month. I kid you not, dude. Like, when you're living at home and you don't have bills and you're making $1,400 a month and you have 0 money, it's called an idiot. Like, you're in the greatest situation you could ever be in to save, invest, and build your retirement. I mean, if you invest $10,000 at 10%, it's like $1.8 million. It's like you could literally self-insure your retirement if you just do it right from the time you're 16 to 18. If you work consistently, right?
And you save everything.
So when I do budgets with these kids, I'm like, they tell me all their stuff, and there's like $900 left, and I'm like, where's the 900? Like, if this is all your expenses that you're telling me that you spend your stuff on, where's the $900? It's gone, my guy. Where is it? Right? And they're kind of sitting there, and they're going through their bank statements, like restaurants, movies, tickets, cars, none of it is actual expenses. It's like, and then they look at themselves, and they turn around, and they look in their mirror, and they're like, I need to get my life together. And it's literally an Excel spreadsheet with income, expenses. That's it. But it opens up. I mean, there's one lady I did it for like 7 months ago. Bro, she said she saved $7,295 in 6 months. Cause she's like, where is it going?
If you can just cut it, like.
But the thing is, a budget allows you to see that you're spending in areas that you can't afford to. Especially in real estate, do the budgets before you enter the thing. Enter the agreement or the contract or any type of thing. It's like, know the numbers. And always leave 10 to 15% for emergencies or unexpected things.
And like, just as far as budgeting goes really fast, 2 key concepts for budget, and this will help you forever as long as, like, even if you don't want a budget because it's too complicated or whatever, 2 things. It goes back to old ancient times. A want and a need. Like, needs, okay, spend money on, you have to. Want, don't spend money on. You'd be amazed how much you can save.
It's unbelievable. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning into this episode. Again, it's your host, Marcus, and Austin. His contact information, if you're looking to buy a home or get into a rental, will be in the description below.
Let me know.
All right, guys, we will see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you.